Hey guys, I just wanted to show a quick demo of how I process International Space Station solar transit data. I capture this data using the Lucky Imaging technique, where basically you just start recording a video moments before the transit's going to occur, and hopefully you have a high enough frame rate and you're in focus and it's not cloudy, and you cross your fingers and it flies by, and then you go back and process this data, which is what I want to show you here. So here's the data. It's a video I took, AVI file, and I'll just quick play it. You'll see it fly by right there, and that's it. It's that quick. Sometimes less than 3/4 of a second. This transit was supposed to be about 1.3 seconds, but because I used a telescope with a little longer focal length, I couldn't fit the whole disk of the sun in. Wanted to try to get a little bit closer image. Unfortunately, I don't think the focus on this is all that great, but let's process it anyway and see what it looks like. All right, so that's the video. Just wanted to inspect it. The first thing that I do is I bring it into Virtual Dub, because that video I started a couple minutes before it happened, and then I stopped the video as soon as it happens. And it's a rather large video. I think it's something like 4.7 gig. So just to get it down to a manageable size, I first trim it, and you can use several different programs for this. I choose to use Virtual Dub, which is a free program that you can download. You just drag the slider to the frame, and it just plays it frame by frame by frame, which is nice. And so I'm looking for when the transit occurred, and there it is. And so now I just trim it to just before it flies by, one frame there, and I make a mark, and then I scrub to the other side where it is off, and I make a mark there. And that's it. Now I've highlighted the frames that I want to keep, and now I just say export as a bunch of images. And so each frame it's going to save as a picture, which is what I want, because I'm ultimately going to stack those pictures. Now I'm going to choose a PNG file because it's a little bit higher quality data type. I'm just going to give it a name of solar transit, and then I have to choose a location for where it's going to be saved. There. All right, and you hit OK, and it will do its thing. All right, it's done processing now. It only took about 30 or 40 seconds to do those frames, and we are done with Virtual Dub. So I will close that program, and here's our images that it just created. And so you can just go through now. Now I have individual images, which is great. So now I have to stack those using the software of your choice. I'm going to choose PixInsight. So we'll open up PixInsight, and let's load those images into image integration. So I'm going to open up that process. Add all those files that we just created in Virtual Dub. So combination, instead of doing average, which is usually what we do, that won't work, because that little ISS, the little black blob that floats across the screen, only appears in a certain spot in one image, and then in the next image is in a completely different spot. So on the average, that looks like an artifact or a defect, so it's going to average that out, and that's not what I want. I want the exact opposite. I want it to keep it in. So the way I did that is I actually chose minimum. And so what it's going to do is it's going to look at all 15 images, and whichever image for each and every pixel has the minimum value, it's going to use that one and make that master image. I'm not going to do any pixel rejection, and normalization, sure. Let's leave it at that. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. So let's see what that does. And here's our image. I will save that as a single file. And we'll save it as a TIFF, sure. 16-bit. And that's it. Now we need to sharpen our image. So I'm going to use Registax. So there's our image. I will bring it into Registax. Show full image. And I have some presets here, particularly for the sun. We'll see how those work. So that to me looks like it's too much. Let's just check some of the other. Yeah, all those are way too much. Okay, I played around with the wavelets a little bit and tried to find the best balance. So once we have that, you hit do all, and then I will save that image as integration underscore Registax. So I know that that's the one that I edited with Registax. And now it's a matter of bringing it into Photoshop and colorizing it, maybe adding a little few tweaks to it, and I'm almost done. So I will open that. So the first thing I'll do is crop it, because I don't want that border around there. We'll accept that. And now we'll go up to colorize the image because I prefer color. So it is already an RGB image in 16-bit, so we don't have to change the mode. Now it's just a matter of setting the color. And there's a couple ways to do this. A real quick way, which is what I'll do here, is just go to color balance. And at the mid-tone setting, I just boost the red to about 70, 75 or so. And then I shift the yellows to about the same amount. And that's just my quick way of colorizing. And it seems to, turn out fairly decent. Gives it a nice glow to it. Not oversaturated. And if you want to clean up, some of the black sky, on a full disk image, the black sky has a little orange tint to it. Some people like that, some people maybe don't. You can select that color and then darken it, bring up the levels just a little bit, the black point on the levels of the red, just a skosh, and that will make the background just a little bit darker. All right, and that's it. It's that simple. That's about the extent of it. You can play around with it more if you want to try and maybe sharpen it a little bit more, maybe squeak out just a little bit more clarity. But I'm happy with this. I wasn't in a great focus to begin with, so I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time trying to make this image much better than it already is. All right, so there you go. Save it and share it with your friends.